Hello, so I'm going to tell you about my successful vaginal birth after 3 cesareans, my first successful one. My first baby was born in 2000. I was in labor for 24 hours and I'd only progressed to a 5. My doctor gave me the option to keep trying or do a C-section. Being young, tired, and uneducated on it all, I chose the C-section. The second baby was a repeat C-section. My doctor did mention a VBAC, but then also told me about the risk, and it scared us not to even look into it any further. My third, I'd started my research and was even hoping for getting maybe a VBAC, but I went into labor at 34 weeks and had another C-section. And that was an emergency C-section, and I got a ride in an ambulance, and it was, another story that I'll hopefully put on here. I'll put maybe all my birth stories on here. But anyway, baby number 4. I found and chose my doctor from the ICANN group of Omaha. I had seen on there several women who had had a doctor who helped them have a successful VBAC after 3 cesareans. So, meeting with her, that's who I went with. Dr. Kinney, that's her name, recommended that I'd be put on the progesterone shot since I went into labor early with my last one. I prayed a lot about it, did some research, and I chose to not take the shot. And my doctor wasn't pushy, thankfully. I made it to 40 weeks and 1 extra day. I had a lot of contractions for a couple of weeks before the real thing. It was so frustrating. May 16th at 3 in the morning, once again, I was feeling contractions that woke me up. So once again, I got up to change positions to see if they would continue. They were not consistent for the next couple hours. I had a lot of discomfort. I didn't work out with him, so it makes a big difference when you're eating healthy and working out with your baby, just saying. And I didn't with him, so I was definitely so uncomfortable towards the end. And especially because he was just tossing and turning in my belly all the time. Anyway, I was feeling a lot of discomfort and then thinking the baby was transverse again because of how uncomfortable I felt. I got on all 4s and did a few of the positions to make sure baby's head was down and to help not cause so much discomfort. Because if the baby's head ain't down when I go into labor, they'll want to do another C-section. And of course I was trying and praying. Was I praying so much? Yeah, I'm sure I was praying for that too. To experience the way God intended us to have babies. Yes, it's awesome that God also made, it possible to be able to save babies and cut us open, but I wanted to experience the way God had naturally attended us to. Is that the right word? Yeah, anyway, so there we go. It's getting towards the end of the day, so my brain just starts kind of shutting down, and I'm just I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? Anyway, sorry. I went back. Now I got one of my little babies out there calling for me. Hopefully one of the others hear her and stop her. Anyway, so I got on all 4 positions to make sure the baby's head was down and to help not cause so much discomfort. I watched YouTube videos to help encourage the baby to go down, and that really seemed to help. Anyway, I went back to, and of course prayer. I remember praying for even that. I went back to bed, tired and frustrated, and cried to God, please let it be soon. I'm reading from a paper. I woke up again to contractions not long after laying down, so I got in the bath and figured I'd start my day early. By this time, they actually started coming more frequently and then got stronger. Finally, this was it. My husband and I headed to the hospital, and we were there a little after 7 a.m. The contractions weren't very long, but I was still feeling pretty good. We turned on my Christian playlist on the way to the hospital, and we kept listening to help me relax through the contractions. I was dilated at a 4, which wasn't further than the last time I was checked in my regular visit. They decided that they were going to admit me as the contractions continued, and they actually let me take a shower while I was there so I could get my hair washed. My plan was to go all naturally with the breathing and my husband's loving touch to help me through the beginning of the mild contractions. Once I hit active labor, I needed more than his touch, and I needed the counter pressure. And he reminded me to relax and breathe through them. Then I was at a 7 when they checked me around 2 o'clock. And I thought I could do it without any medication. But after 2 hours later, they checked me again, and I was still at a 7 and in that kind of pain. I didn't want to do it anymore. With every contraction, I felt like what I had heard about my body doing this intense workout and was having such a hard time relaxing my body through the pain. I felt so tired after each one and was falling asleep for a minute in between because I was so worn out. I prayed about it, talked with my doctor, and felt at peace about getting an epidural. Oh, and somewhere in the active labor, my doctor broke my water. Definitely a weird thing. I had a lot of fluid. With every contraction, with quite a few of them, I would lose a lot of water. But after the epidural thing was definitely so much better. I could still feel the contractions, but they were not horrible, just mainly pressure. Started feeling like I needed to push around 8 o'clock. I still felt the contractions. I can still feel the contractions, and still enough to where they hurt while I was pushing, but I wanted to be able to push the baby out, so I didn't want to press for more of the epidural medicine. An hour and 7 minutes of pushing, our little 8-pound, 7-ounce baby boy was placed on my chest. Our baby stayed with us the whole time. This was definitely such hard work, but definitely worth it and much better than my C-section experiences. My husband definitely agrees. He wasn't even planning on watching after seeing a video of a birth in college. He also remembered peeking when they were pulling our baby out with the C-section. He had no desire to watch this one, just to help me near my head. But when the time came, things were different. He was all in and helping in any way that he could, and even cut the umbilical cord. He now looks at me in a whole new light. He was so encouraging. This awesome experience even brought us closer together. The recovery is so much better. I can laugh without holding my tummy in pain. I can hold my baby without worrying about him hurting me. There were so many other reasons why, but I'm not going to go into that. The team we had at Nebraska Med was great. The nurses, everyone. My doc ended taking me. What? My doctor ended talking to me at her shift was coming to an end. Oh gosh. Anyway, okay, so my doctor ended up coming in towards the end and introduced me to Dr. Carlson when I was like in labor and not quite too intense. She introduced me to a different doctor and said she was going to go home. So I was like, okay, cool. Felt at peace with her taking over, which I really believe if I would have asked my doctor to stay, she probably would have. And it was Dr. Finley who released me, and she was such a sweet heart and so helpful too. We are so happy with the care we got at Nebraska Med, and I'm so happy and blessed we got to have this great experience. So yeah, that was all before, because then I ended up having another C-section with my baby girl, and it was like, I tried to have a vaginal birth with her, but it was during the pandemic, and I wasn't even promised of having my doctor because of the pandemic going on. Then it's just a whole nother crazy story. I actually have it. I'll post it down in the description of this video so you can check it out too if you want to. Totally different. And way even more better and different was my last one. I ended up having another vaginal birth with no meds, and I have that story. I'll have that one posted down below too. And yeah, so you guys should check them out. It's definitely a lot different than this one. And I can also tell you with this one, I wasn't believing for a supernatural birth like I was with the others. So it definitely pays off to believe and to pray for a supernatural birth. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to add on with this too. Oh, and I was just gonna say, add a little funny thing. Right when they placed him on my chest, he peed on me. I tell him that one now, it's funny. Yeah, so anyway, fun. That's it. Oh yeah, by the way, please like and subscribe. And like I said, check out my other videos too, okay?